What's going on, guys? How are you? How are you doing? This is Shocks and this is ShocksCapital YouTube channel. If you are new to this channel, we talk about everything to do with Forex, institutional trading, and everything you need to know about ICT. So today we are going to look at how to trade Forex or how to trade any Forex pair, anything that you might think of. So what I'm going to show you here is a very intelligent discussion of how you look at charts and how you actually get entries on the lower time frame. So I'm starting on the H4 up to the M15. So if this is something that you want to learn about, then stick around and understand what we are talking about. So if you are looking at this particular one, this is gold, right? I want you to look at the cycles that price is giving to you, right? So remember, this is hindsight, right? So this is has already happened, and some of you might be asking, how do we then learn? So I'm going to give you a context so that we build around that context. So the context is cycles. So if you look at this particular one, this is the H4, and the H4 depicts movements in a week. If you look at these lines that are going down, these vertical lines, these are period separators, and each period right here is a week. So I want you to understand how price moves in a week. Then after understanding that, you then get the gist of what we are talking about. So if you look at this clearly, this is God. Remember, at the beginning of every week here, I want you to see that price goes in the opposite direction to the direction that it actually wants to go. If you look at this particular one, you see that price went down, then went up the rest of the week, right? In the following week, it does the same, went down, goes up again. Then in the coming week, it goes against the prevailing trend. Then it goes in the direction that it wants to go. In this week again, it does the same, does the same, does the same. So we want to take advantage of that pattern, right? So what you have to understand is at each beginning of every week, you are going to see a force move to the direction that price intends to take for the rest of the week. So with that being said, let's look at this. So how do you then understand what price is going to do or which direction price is going to go? So this is how we are going to look at it. Remember, we have understood that the cycle goes in the opposite direction of the prevailing trend, right? So what we need to do is you look at the history like we are doing here. Let's say this is the week that we are looking at, right? You are going to look at the retracements that happened that previous week that you are looking at and mark them out. We have what we call a rally, then we have a rest here and a rally. So some of the guys call this a rally base rally, right? So this is how the week moves. So here where it formed a base, we are going to term that a demand zone, right, or a supply zone, depending on which direction we are looking at, right? And some might want to call that order blocks and things like that. So we have a rally, then we have a rest, we have a rally. So we have a rally base rally in 1 week. So when price moves in the following week, it moves, remember, it moves in the opposite direction to the intended direction that it wants to take, right? So when price then comes back to the base that we have identified, we are going to be looking at price expanding into the direction that it intends to take for the rest of the week, right? So this is what we are going to do. So with that being said, let's look at more examples of how this happens. So there are two ways that you are going to be looking at this thing. After looking at that, we are going to go to the M15 and try to get an entry on this particular one. But I want to show you 2 points of interest that you're going to be looking for. Number one, you're going to be looking for these bases that I'm showing you, the order block, the demand zones. Then number three, you're going to be looking for what we call the flip zone, right? What is a flip zone? A flip zone is an area where price would have taken out as a high or a low. Then we are expecting price to come back and retest that particular area. So it just means we are looking at the highs, right? So the highs are potential flip zones. So we are looking at the highs and we are looking at the breaks of price, what price is doing those breaks, right? So this is what I want you to see, right? And let's look at this following week. What did price do? Remember, we're looking at those bases. In this week, we have price beginning to move from here into the intended direction, right? We have this stop right here and we have another stop here, which is an order block that you can see. So price, what does price do? Price just retests that, goes in the opposite changes direction on the beginning of the week and expands higher. So when price changes direction, what are you going to see? You are going to see price moving in the direction that it moves in a week, right? We are going to see price. How do you understand when price changes direction then? So you are going to see that whenever a reversal happens, right, we are going to see a move we are going to see that reversal within a week, right? We're going to see a move that goes and a move that mitigates this move that we're going to see. So what do I mean? I mean, we are going to see this move, right? Then in that same week, we are going to see a move that actually mitigates or invalidates this kind of move. Then we know that we are changing directions. So what we are going to do is simple. We are going to be looking at the next week, thinking that we are going to be following what has been happening in the last week. So the last move of the previous week is the move that we are going to follow. The last move of the previous week is the move that we are going to follow. So what does that mean? If the previous week ended with us in a downtrend like this one, right, we're going to be looking for downtrends in the following week. If the previous week ended with us in an uptrend like this, we're going to be following the uptrend in the coming week. Then we are going to continue like that. So today is Friday. We are looking at this, right? I don't know when you're going to see this video. Okay, this is end of the week. As you can see, we are in the end of the week here. If we end this week going down, it means the following week we are going to be going down as well. So what are you going to look for? You're going to look for a retracement that goes up. Remember, we want to see price going in the opposite direction to the direction that it intends to go in the rest of the week. So we are going to see price going against what we want. So when it goes against, that is a retracement. That retracement is what is going to go to our point of interest, or to our base, to our order block, to our demand zone, to our supply zone. So we want to see price going against, then we want to see price then expanding for the rest of the week. So this is what I wanted to show you on the H4, right? So let's go on the M15. You might be asking yourself, so how then do we enter on the M15 after having this knowledge, right? So on the M15, you are going to look for what we call breakers, right? So remember, when price is moving away like this, on the H4, on the M15 it's doing the same, but when price is retracing on the H4, like what you are seeing in this area, right? So this is a retracement, right? So in this retracement, price on the M15 is showing you that price is actually going up, right? We know that the trend is down, but on the M15 the trend will be up. So we want to see, or want to get to a point where the trend on the M15 is the same as the trend on the H4. And once we get to that point, that's when we are going to be entering our trade. So let's look at this particular zone and go to the M15 and try to use market structure to get our entry so that we can be in sync with the rest of the week. Remember, we're looking at gold at this particular example, right? So I want to show you how it goes. So this is gold on the M15, and this is the chart that you are looking for. Remember, this is the retracement on the H4, and on the M15 it looks like a full-blown uptrend, as you can see. So what are you going to wait for? Remember, I said you are going to be waiting for breakers. Then after that breaker, you're going to be entering your trades, right? So if you are looking at this, you can clearly see that when price was going up, we have this breaker, right? You see this last red candle that you see in this area, but you are going to use only the body of this candle, right? So after identifying this breaker, when price breaks that breaker, that's when you are going to enter your trade. After this break, you are going to enter your trade there. Your stop loss is going to go above the structure, as you can see, and you're going to be using a take profit from the H4. So if you are looking at this, remember, this is the trade that you are looking for, and you're going to target the next low on the H4. So this is going to be the next low, and if you look at this, you're going to be hunting something like a 300 pip range on this particular one. And this being gold, you are going to catch the most impulsive move of that particular week. So this is how I want you to do it. So let's look at another example on another pair and see how best we can do this. So remember, this is we are looking at the same thing, right? Remember, these are weeks that we are doing, and remember, we are going to be considering the direction that last prevailed in the previous week, right? So remember, this week, the previous week that we are looking for, this week, the last trend that we saw was a downtrend. So what are we doing this particular week? We're looking for what? We're looking for a retracement to the upside. Then we are looking for for the correct move to the downside because we want to go down. So what are we going to do here? We are going to go to the M15 and try to see our breakers so that we can get our entry. But before we do that, we are going to understand that we need a point of interest on the H4 like this. So if you can't see it on the H4, you can go to the H1, but you're going to wait for price to do what? To go in the opposite direction like that and go down. Remember, this is USD ZAR, so it's the dollar versus the rand, and this is an exotic pair, very volatile. So you are not going to get the best structures on the what? On this particular pair. Let's go to Euro USD and try to see how we can maneuver this one. Let's look at this particular one. What do you see on what? On the Euro USD? This particular week that you are seeing here, we ended this week in an uptrend. And what do we need to do on the next week? We need to understand that we need to go against first, then for the trend, right? So I want you to see that in this area that we have these candlesticks here and the fair value gap that you see in this area, we had this retracement right here. It was a pin, but it came and took us in at this particular zone. And if you can clearly see, you can see that we had a flip zone again in this area and price went. And remember, you are targeting this high, so you were not going to be caught out with this move. But then in this particular day, what do you see? You see that we ended this week in a downtrend and price started going up, then did a midweek reversal at this particular zone. So you are going to be guided by your what? By your M15 on what to do as price reverses at this particular zone, where you are going to see this as an uptrend. Then you wait for your breaker on the M15 as I have shown you in this video, and take it home like that. So if we end this week in a downtrend like this, it means that we are starting this particular week expecting a move to go up, then we expect a reversal to go down into our direction. And if we are looking at this particular one, you can see that we have a liquidity void in this area that needs to be filled by price going down like this and filling this whole liquidity void that you can see. And the target in this particular zone is what? Is this low that you can see down here. So this is how you are analyzing the chart using the concepts that I've shown you in this video. And if this was helpful, share with your brother, like this video so more people can get a hold of this video. And if you're looking for a broker to trade with, look no further than TIOmarkets. Right, traders? This is what I wanted to show you. And if you are looking for a very good broker, we have our recommended broker, that is TIOmarkets. The links to join TIOmarkets and trade with TIOmarkets are in the description down below. Register today, deposit, and start trading with the best in the business. I will see you in the next video. Cheers. Shocks out.